there are times when intuitively I'm connecting to an unborn child.
Oh, wow.
And we're already developing core beliefs about the world outside, because by the time a fetus is about 6 months along, they're thinking, they're hearing, they're experiencing, they're understanding there's something out there. And they're absorbing, they're trying to make sense of it.
Welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls, where culture meets commerce and the people behind our favorite places get the mic.
We're your hosts, Melissa Goodwin and Steve Schmidt, and we're sitting down with the makers, doers, and dreamers shaping the soul of our city.
From storefronts to side hustles, tattoos to tech startups, we are telling the stories that make Sioux Falls shine.
Because behind every business is a human story, and those stories, they're what make our community feel like home. This is Spotlight Sioux Falls.
Hi, this is Steve with Spotlight Sioux Falls. Today we are again in Brandon. This is our fourth time in Brandon in 25 episodes, maybe even fifth. Go Lynx, right? Literally, you guys are taking over this show. It's good to see. We are with Kara Boss, and she is an LPCMH at New Day Counseling Services. She's the owner, the CEO, she's the boss. She's also called the guru here, the guide for so many people who come into your office, including us. We had a chance to come in 2 weeks ago and have a session with you to get used to it and to really start to understand your world. Kara, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are in your office is beautiful. And this is a space where you can feel the I want to say the weight, the lightness of the work you do. So tell everybody, what is the work that you do in a way that I guess they would understand it?
I am a licensed professional counselor for mental health. I work primarily with cognitive behavioral therapy. And over the years, I've adopted and integrated techniques from a realm called energy psychology that really targets where the body holds trauma, whether it's life-threatening trauma or hurt feelings that we've carried for so long. Energy psychology aims to identify where the body is holding it and release it.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, let's back up. For those people who don't know, which is probably most of us, right?
Okay.
Unless you've been through it, I think. What is that practice?
CBT is looking at our thought reactions to an event. So whenever we have a reaction, there's a cognition, and there's a thought, and there's a behavior. And a lot of times there's an emotion wrapped up in there. So CBT aims to unwind and understand how our behaviors are affected by our emotions and our thought processes.
We were just talking about that on the way here.
Okay.
Melissa, as a matter of fact, was talking about meditation as a way to call it slow. I put a second gap in your reaction time, right? Because I was kind of asking some questions, and I thought that's pretty good. Like, if that's all you get, that's a lot. Is CBT dealing in that? Is it getting people to say, this makes me feel a way, i.e. triggered? Does it trigger a response, and you're looking to...
Yeah, so that's where we would look at, like if we're looking at a child's behavior. What's running on a cognitive and emotional level that's causing this behavioral reaction.
Right. So when you say, I'm going to go a layer deeper, cognitive, and a lot of people know behavior, right? Cognitive, what is cognitive behavior versus all other behavior?
Cognitive looks at the actual mental and subconscious processes happening in the brain.
Yeah, the big one.
The thought process and the subconscious, the core beliefs running, whereas behavior therapy can be looked at more as behavior modification. Like
thoughts become things, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And if we don't solve the things, the thoughts aren't going to be good, is kind of what I've learned. And I think a lot of people maybe don't know that, right? And maybe they're dealing with a certain reaction, or they go, gosh, I wish I didn't react that way when I argued with my spouse or my coworker, or I wish this didn't make me feel this way.
Yeah. So cognitive behavior therapy is like reverse engineering the behavior by understanding the thoughts and the emotions behind the thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we can have 5 people go through an exact same experience, and they're all going to react differently because of how their perspective on it.
Yeah.
And that's driven by their emotions and their cognitions.
Formed at a very early age, right?
Oh, yes.
So almost the second you come out of the womb, or before you do?
I don't know how you're going to integrate this early in this, but there are times when intuitively I'm connecting to an unborn child.
Oh, wow.
And we're already developing core beliefs about the world outside, because by the time a fetus is about 6 months along, they're thinking, they're hearing, they're experiencing, they're understanding there's something out there. And they're absorbing, they're trying to make sense of it.
That makes sense to me, actually. And they're connected to their mother by an umbilical cord. So
Right.
That's where the science comes into me.
And babies and moms share energetic fields until the babies are at least 3 years old.
Yeah.
And I come across a lot of birth trauma.
Yeah.
Where I come across like core beliefs in infants. I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Or this was really scary.
Kara, we always ask everybody, what's the one thing you want everybody to know? And your answer was profoundly simple. What would you want everybody to know if you could choose just one thing?
Everything is going to be okay. Everything is figureoutable. The job of the subconscious is to keep us safe and alive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it'll do that in very misguided ways. And then we end up having irrational fears and hangups. What I love about energy psychology is they're very quick, efficient, elegant ways to dig deep really quick and unwire those.
Yeah. I think it'd be good too for people to really understand, like, you have core areas that you focus on, and that's really relevant in terms of like why we're talking about what we're talking on. When people come see you, what are the things that the 4 areas of practice that you really specialize in?
Well, cognitive behavioral therapy,
Yep.
that helps me to understand the subconscious underpinnings of what the issues are.
That's base layer 1?
Base layer 1.
Okay.
It's like, what are the core beliefs, what are dysfunctional beliefs and behaviors that you want to change? And maybe if they have some insight, get an understanding in how that developed.
So sort of the obstacle is the way, like getting through that first?
The understanding of how this was created,
Yeah.
and then we can dismantle it.
That's good. Well, without that, you have nothing else, right? Because you're going to constantly be punching into a wall. All right, Kara, so tell us a little bit about how your practice is maybe different than other cognitive behavioral therapy practices.
I tend to look at how the body is storing trauma, whether it's a life-threatening event or hurt feelings along the way that have created these subconscious dysfunctional beliefs and maybe maladaptive behavior patterns.
Yeah.
Self-sabotaging issues. So we'll do some kinesiology exercises to understand maybe how old a person was when this showed up, what emotions are running, and maybe even where in the body it's stored. And then we can, from there, see how the body wants to release that.
Yeah.
And there's several methods and tools I use that I integrate with the cognitive work to help the body release stored emotions.
What are some of those, if you don't mind sharing?
The first one that I came across is called Emotional Freedom Technique.
I've heard of this, EFT.
Yeah, EFT.
Okay.
And it's just tapping on the acupuncture points,
Yeah.
holding either a thought or an emotion about the energy you want to release. For example, I was working with a woman. She's retired and was having some panic attacks.
Yep.
And presenting, I didn't really feel like it was anxiety. I felt like it was grief. And she kept disagreeing with me.
Oh.
And so we were doing kinesiology, and I got what looked like panic traced back to something that happened when she was like 9. And I said, so tell me about when you were 9 years old. And she said, that's when my dad died.
Yeah.
And so I thought, are you sure this isn't grief? No, it's panic, it's anxiety. I'm taking anxiety medications. And I said, what was your dad's name? And so I had her say her dad's name, and her face got wet.
Yeah.
And she was feeling it here. And I'm like, what is that emotion, do you think? She's like, sad.
Oh.
So we were able to shift once she recognized, and she lowered her resistance. And we just started tapping, even though I'm sad. And I feel it in my stomach.
Yeah.
I'm a good person. Sad. My dad died when I was 9. I'm carrying the sadness my whole life. And it began to soften. I think we went through 3 rounds, face getting super, super duper wet.
Yeah.
And she felt a lot better. Now, we didn't completely erase that,
Sure.
but for her in that moment, it was much relieved.
You guys have a way with making people cry. I was with a one I used yesterday, and I started crying out of nowhere, and I was just similar to what you were doing. It
Well,
was just like,
I do prefer things not hurt on the way out as
Of
much
course.
as they did going in, but we're going to feel it.
well, and we can on our own, and I think that's sort of the mirror or the reflection that you give us is as who you are. We can finally see us for who we are,
Right.
so who we wish we were. The insecurities that we might have developed along the way, and you make it feel very okay. When I leave your 4 walls, then how can I, as one of your patients, practice these things when I'm not with you? Whether that is tapping on my temples and doing the whole EFT, is it, what are some things that you would recommend between the times that they see you?
I teach them some regulating exercises.
Very cool.
Just to get to be more in tune with their body.
Okay.
Not that people dissociate, but whenever we're dysregulated, and EFT, we do elicit a lot of emotional release.
Yeah.
And there are other things we do that are a lot softer,
Okay.
gentler, and those I do kind of prefer those. It just kind of depends how the energy presents itself.
Yep.
And sometimes we do tapping because we want a big release. So back and forth between tapping and another process called body code, emotion code, where again we're using the energy testing, the emotion testing techniques, and we have a specific heading where EFT maybe starts with a specific trauma or an exact emotion.
Okay.
Body code you can more tailor to an issue.
I see.
For example, maybe a 7th grader who's overly perfectionistic and has developed some anxiety around that. So we'll have maybe the anxieties because she knows she can't be perfect, but she strives to be perfect. And maybe the other aspect of it is that maybe somebody in her family compares her to her younger sibling or her older sibling, or she compares herself to her older sibling. And so we map out 2 or 3 aspects that are contributing to this issue, and we muscle test the heck out of it, and we ping pong back and forth, and we start bringing the intensity of the anxiety and the perfectionistic tendencies and needing to compare herself to a sibling. And then when those are as close, because we measure, like we'll get like a hypothetical measurement, like maybe a depth or a strength or a color. And as things shift, then we can flip it around to, I don't need to care like one aspect would be I care too much what other people think. And we bring that to 0 or as close to 0 as we can. And then we flip it around. I only need to care what I think.
Yeah.
I don't need to care what these people think.
That's really hard.
It is.
Why is it so hard? Because it seems easy to go like, I just got to focus on myself. Like,
well, because we're not, especially we're taught to not be selfish, right?
Yeah.
So when we start focusing on ourselves, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I suppose most of us are.
I'm sorry, not selfish. We're taught to be selfless. We're taught to not be selfish. That was my verbal typo there.
Yeah.
We're taught to
share.
To share, to think about other people.
Yeah.
And we so crave acceptance.
That makes sense now. Yeah, I'm with you.
We so crave acceptance that we do what we think is expected.
Yeah.
And if somebody feels like, if their subconscious tells them they have to be perfect, then that's going to create a set of behaviors and anxieties.
I see.
Around that.
So it's okay for us to tell our kids, you're not perfect and I love you just how you are.
Well, and normalize being imperfect.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different. Everybody's wonderful in their own way.
Yeah.
But to think that just because you don't play baseball, that you're not as good as somebody.
Right.
Or that you're more autistic than athletic. Did I say artistic? More artistic than athletic.
Okay.
That normalize individuality.
Yeah.
And not comparing yourself to other people, because nobody's going to be the same.
So if we're a parent and our kids, and this hits close to home, right? If they don't want to go out and play sports, they'd rather do every sort of art under the sun, it's okay. Is that okay? Or do we have to say, like, you still need to go exercise because that's good too, because that is their way of maybe call it getting it out, maybe all the things that might be...
to a point.
Okay.
Now, I could see that going a different direction if a child had extreme social anxiety.
Sure.
And was using art and creativity as a way to isolate.
Yeah.
And avoid people.
Sure.
Then that would be addressed differently.
I use social media that way. I'll be honest, at night, like before bed, I always tell myself, I hear myself telling other people, I go to bed around 8:39. I never do that. I usually get winding down and then I'll go to bed and then scroll through social media. And it's been something I've been acutely aware of lately, because I know that can't do anything good for me. And now I go, okay, well, I don't want to wait for a disaster this time. And then go back and say, well, this is why this is happening. I'm at a stage in my life where I think I've seen the lack of, call it seeing a therapist in time or admitting the wrong things, doing the work, doing CBT when I could have when I was 22, and being honest with that therapist. But as a parent now, you carry that forward. And how do we, if you catch something later in life, and you go, man, I've really affected a lot of things in a bad way, and I've affected people the wrong way with my emotions. Where do we start? Because we're probably carrying so much shame with us that it seems more like work. Because now I got to go say sorry to everybody. I got to change who I am. I'm halfway through my life. Like, why would I do that much work? Like, how do you talk to someone who's in that situation? Because it seems too hard.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you're halfway through your life, and you look at your quality of life on an emotional, relational level.
Yeah.
From then
Which
to
is
now.
everything. Yeah.
Do you really want to do this for the rest of your life?
Yeah, most people
Do you
would say
really
no.
want, like, whatever this is, do you want to continue to carry that with you for the next 40-ish years?
All right. So, Kara, why do you do what you do?
That started to evolve when I was in high school.
Tell me more.
Somebody asked me when I was like 11th grade, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And without even thinking, I said, I want to be the person that helps kids with messed up families.
Oh, did you have a messed up family?
Messed up family.
Oh.
Messed up family. And I didn't even know that was in my brain.
Wow.
And it kind of scared me because I realized, yeah, that was the first time I said out loud things were messed up.
Yeah.
And so I graduated, muddled through college, and got married, had a baby, and went back to school. And I was majoring in psychology.
Okay.
And minoring in education. And then where I was talking with some classmates, and she said something about play therapy. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's what it was called. So I got really interested in play therapy. And then I finished graduate school, started working with children and families, doing some play therapy, doing some family therapy. I did a lot of in-home work for the first maybe 7-8 years. And then I started my private practice. Stayed very cognitive, very play therapy, very client-centered. Around 2011, I learned about emotional freedom technique. And my stepsister had sent me the ebook, and I'd never read it. And one night I couldn't sleep because my back pain was so bad.
Yeah.
And something whispered to me, why don't you read that book Tracy sent you, like last year? So 2 o'clock in the morning, crack open my laptop, I start reading this book, and it says, try it on everything. So I tried it on my back pain.
Yep.
And immediately my back pain went like click, click, click from an 8 to a 2. And so I spent a couple of hours that night just tapping on this back pain. And the whole while, I'm having traumatic memories come up from my childhood.
Oh.
Thinking
Wow.
and I'm like maybe 40 something years old. I'm like, how is this still there? How is this there? And so that kind of started my journey into understanding how the body holds energy and holds trauma. If we don't release it, it gets stuck somewhere. And so it just kind of evolved into learning different tools and techniques for understanding emotions and how we store them and how to release them. And energy testing has been huge to help understand and quickly and efficiently target the exact thing that we need to target.
Yeah. Energy is very real. I mean, I think we feel a certain way, or we call it this thing, but you're really feeling the energy.
Right. And we share energy. We're absorbing emotions off of people all the time.
Certainly.
And we're sending it out. So without even thinking, sometimes we're sharing grief with people or absorbing panic off of people. And these are ways to kind of make sure that what you're feeling is authentically yours and not somebody else's.
Tell me about a time where you felt like there was profound impact that was made. I'd love to hear a story where maybe someone can see themselves or hear themselves or someone they love, or just feel the work you do and the importance of it. There
was a family, I think it's been about 5.5 years ago. Mom, 3 kids, I think 7 months pregnant. Tragic car accident. Tragic car accident. There was some severe injuries. This far out, everybody seems okay. Baby was fine. Baby was born a couple months later, and there was a 3 or 4-year-old brother was super excited to have a baby brother. And probably by 3 or 4 months old, this baby was getting really angry, really defensive, really rejecting, like hostile toward the toddler brother.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it didn't take long to figure out that for some reason, we thought he was being possessive of mom.
Sure.
Because that makes sense, right?
Yep.
But digging a little deeper, it seemed more apparent that after the car accident, everybody's in the emergency room. Things are chaotic and crazy. And mom's in a panic, and she has 3-year-old boy on her lap, baby right here across the stomach. And so as all this craziness and panic and distress is happening, the subconscious of that not quite born infant was recognizing there was a threat and the subconscious assigned a threat to that brother.
Wow.
The subconscious assigned the threat to the 3-year-old brother. So later on, he was defensive to the brother, thinking the brother was the threat.
Wow.
And so digging into that little guy's system, found a lot of panic, a lot of defensiveness, some despair, some fear. I think he had absorbed some mortal fear. Like there was a fear somebody was going to die at one point in this situation. And a couple hours after we had done that, Mom sent me a picture of these two little boys cuddling on the couch looking at a book together.
That probably made her day and made your day.
It made my day. I was
Yeah.
speechless. I just sat there looking at that picture, going like, how in the world?
It's priceless.
Priceless. And those two are best buds to this day.
So if you heard something in there, and you know, we're going to tell you where to find her here in a second. You work with people with migraines. Those are emotionally related. You I don't want to say you claim, but that's what you're finding.
Generally, yeah. What I notice is if we focus specifically on migraines, we target them, and sometimes people can go months or years without a migraine.
So no migraine medication needed. No days missed.
If using energy testing, we
Yeah.
clear out all the emotional or energetic aspects that are contributing to that migraine, they are greatly reduced, if not eliminated.
So if you have headaches, okay, what don't you do? This is the thing I want everybody to, you didn't know this question was coming, but we want to know. What's one thing about you that we and everybody here would be surprised to learn?
I don't know. I don't think I'm all that exciting. I think I'm pretty generic.
I don't think you're generic at all. And I know that you have you're Christian. You practice work that maybe, I don't want to say the Christian faith would look down on, but it's definitely exploring.
It does
the
look
realms of
very
energy.
strange.
I know it's strange to me. I'm pretty strange. We're pretty strange, but I get it. Like,
The best of us are.
Yeah, and so I think those two things are interesting. Like,
Yeah.
When did you start to explore that realm?
Around 2016. Actually, I don't know if I have it here, but a rock spoke to me.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you need to come home with me, don't you? It was an $8 amethyst. It was super cute. It was on a display stand. I'm never going to use it. What's this for? So I bought it, and I just started getting very curious. I feel like I was getting whisperings, right, to explore this. And so I set up a crystal grid around attracting money in business.
Yeah.
And within a week, I had a contract for like $20,000.
Wow.
Where's
Where's the rock? I need it. We want it. That's great.
That was over there. That
Oh,
orange one.
I'm glad you kept it. That's great.
So so I was excited, but then I was a little freaked out because I'm like, oh my goodness, did I just make God angry? And so my prayer in this journey has always been, help me know how this fits. Because humans, we created religion. God created everything else. So it can't be bad unless you use it in the wrong way. And so it's been my hope and my prayer this whole journey that I know how it fits and that I do it right. Because we all have spiritual gifts, right? And we need to be able to rely on them without feeling like we're doing something wrong. And so I try really hard to walk in the light and get divine guidance with every new thing that comes along. And so once that happened, I feel very confident that I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
It is weird, and I have people look at me sometimes and go, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
then we're not going to be friends. That's okay.
Right. Well, it's obviously spoke to you and changed your life. And I
Right.
mean, you brought it into your practice now to help.
And especially when Reiki came online,
Yeah.
that's just been a game changer for me.
Yeah. Talk to me more about that.
Reiki, the elevator speech on Reiki is it is a traditional Japanese energy healing technique.
I'm into that.
Right.
Japanese do good work. They make great knives too.
They do.
Lots of things.
So what Reiki feels like is like a massage for your soul.
Into it.
It can release emotional blockage, energy blockage. It can help with the chakras. It can help with the meridians.
Okay.
Because not only do we store trapped emotions in our organs, right? And the heart even has memory cells. The heart has neurons. So the body holds energy everywhere. So not just in the organs, but in the fascia, in the muscles, in the meridian system. And so
Yeah.
a lot of what Reiki does looks at the meridian system.
The meridian system is the chakras here.
The meridian system is what ancient acupuncture is based on.
I see.
And they are pathways under the skin that are filled with light particles.
Yep. Okay.
And those light particles, those pathways are how the body moves energy.
Wild.
And so if there's a energy blockage and energy can't flow correctly, you're going to have pain.
All right. So we've got all these rocks sitting here. Can you tell me what do these two do? These look familiar to me.
Yeah. These are those ones you held on to. I don't remember why we had you hold them last time you were here. These are just energy balancers. Sometimes when there's a lot of energy running, this is to help kind of ground people, to kind of help soothe, calm the energies down. And this is if we had kind of an intense session, and we needed to kind of get grounded and bring things down a notch, I would have somebody hold on to these.
Okay. Those are my favorite because I've used
those are
those
awesome.
and it worked.
And I don't remember what they're called. They're rocks, but they're metal.
I thought they looked like a little avocado seed or like,
Or
this one?
A pit of some kind.
There you go, the pit. But they're different, right? Because one's positive, one's negative?
One's positive, one's negative, one's male, one's female.
Okay.
And they just kind of help balance how the energy's flowing through the body.
Wow.
This is the first stone I used when I was incorporating crystals into my work.
Okay. Why first? Why was it the first?
I just happened to have just purchased it, and I was working with a young lady on anger in her pancreas. Maybe it was her spleen. I don't remember. It was over here. And so we were going to do some old-fashioned tapping on anger in her spleen. And something, again, whispered to me, go grab that stone you just got, because this is a solar plexus chakra stone. And I had her hold it while we were working on anger. And normally, that level of anger she had, you would expect to do 3 or 4 rounds of tapping. Because this helped soften the energy that we were working with, the anger was gone in one round of tapping.
Can I just ask, like, the principle of crystals would be that I can take light from external sources and reflect it into internal sources, or is it an energy field?
It's more the frequency of the stone.
Okay.
The frequency of the stone is similar to that of the solar plexus chakra. And so what happens, there's a physics principle, I think, called entrainment. And what happens is you match the energy of the environment. So that's how you can walk into a room not knowing what's happening and you're feeling people be sad. Like, oh, there's sadness in here, right? So what happens when this touches your skin, your brain and your body go, oh, this is the frequency we're vibing at right now. And so it's much easier to pull this energy out that was in her spleen.
You said vibing.
Vibing.
That's cool.
Yeah. We match the energy of the stone.
Yeah.
And so then that was much easier for that energy to release.
I bet. Wow. Okay. This makes sense to me. Again, maybe it's a percussionist, like sound and vibration did so much for me that I feel like when I let that go, the problem started. I mean that.
Yeah. And think about the vibration table with sound and vibration.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's going to get me thinking about that probably too much.
And this one, I tend to use this one when there's a grief issue.
Okay.
Or these two together when there's...
Is that quartz?
It's rose quartz, yeah.
Okay. It's pretty.
It is.
Now this one's black. It looks like it's going to take me over and darken my soul up really
No.
bad.
Now, black obsidian you got to be careful with because it absorbs negative energy.
Okay.
When it runs out of negative energy, it starts sucking out positive energy. So we use this in small doses.
That's a sucker. It gets everything.
Yeah, I call
like
it my
a
little
leech.
I call it my vacuum cleaner. It just like, and I'll even have people rub it on their head if they have a headache.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But if there's really intense anger, we'll work while we're holding both of these.
Okay.
Because it not only softens, it pulls out.
This is a science. Like you can't just pick these up and start using them. You studied. How did you learn how to use them?
I think it was just that guidance. Whenever I would get interested in something, like how does this work, I would research it.
Okay. You do that with oils too. Let's talk about oils. Do you use oils on people's skin? Do you use aromatherapy? How are you integrating them?
I'll do aromatherapy, but also the pathways in the body for emotions respond to certain oils. So like if there's a grief issue, there's a respiratory blend called Breathe that is good for grief because grief is generated in the lungs.
It is?
Yes.
Is it from, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So have you ever experienced or watched someone who is overcome with grief to the point where they can't breathe for a moment?
Can't breathe anymore, yeah.
Yep, that's grief. That's grief coming up. They're being so overcome that their lungs have to purge that before they can work again.
Now, oils are something that I see them all over. I have, used an oil in a diffuser. Melissa certainly uses them. I think they also can be used all over the place, right? They're in our shampoos, dyes. Sometimes people organically are using those. Used in the way that you're speaking of them, though, is that the intentional way to work? Or could somebody then come home and say, oh, I need to relax. I'm just going to buy this oil and use it this way because then I can do this on my own too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and a lot of times I will make a roller bottle for them with maybe
Cool.
some crystal chips.
Yeah. Crystal chips.
Yeah. So I have little
love it.
bitty rose quartz
That's so cool.
that I'll put in.
Yeah.
If we're working on a worthless or self-confidence issue,
Yep.
I'll use maybe grapefruit, solar plexus oil.
Okay.
And then I'll put some citrine and some or clear quartz in there.
You know what? You just taught me. There was a guy who gave me a balm that I thought was really effective, and it had little chips in it. And I remember he said it was little shavings that he puts in there of crystals
Interesting.
to help heal. And so it's like a balm you put into your shoulder. And so this is coming back to me now.
Yeah. And some people will even put crystals in their bathtub.
Okay, so this is cool. Oils. We learned about oils, we learned about crystals, and we learned what these do, which is, again, if you're really looking at it, it does kind of make sense. Like a battery, you start to think positive and negative, and your body's got a lot of flow through it.
Yep.
Okay, so come see you for some crystal work, but that's not going to be what you're going to throw at me session 1, or maybe you will.
Maybe we will.
I love that. I love that everybody's a little different. You're going to kind of go with it. So
And we just figure out what works.
that's so great. So
That's why I have them over there, because maybe somebody's talking about they had hurt their knee the night before. I'm like, all right, so why don't you grab that where's the copper? I have a copper. Grab the copper, rub it on your knee,
okay,
or grab that medical grade flashlight I have and work on your toe meridians, and the pain goes away. We didn't even talk about the flashlight yet, did we?
let's talk about the flashlight.
Okay. The flashlight, this is a high-end laser. You don't shine it in your eyes. I don't let kids play with this by themselves.
Okay.
And so we talked about the light particles being in the meridian system. So if there's an emotion that tends to be all over the body and we want to target it specifically, we hit those acupuncture points to flush the meridian pathways with light and clear the emotion that we're working on.
Okay.
And we just go through all the points.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll work on the toes, especially if there was an injury.
Should I feel something? Like if you're touching that to somebody, are they feeling something?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. Again, it's a pretty gentle process.
Okay.
But a lot of times, if it's a big enough bundle of emotions, they'll maybe feel a release. They'll feel lighter, maybe a little floaty in the head for a minute. It's all completely normal.
I'm seeing a little bit of cross functionality. I've certainly had sonar therapy, and that was effective on my muscles. So sound, light can work both for emotions and your muscles, which are kind of, as we understand it now, intertwined.
Yeah.
You've taught us so much today. I think that this is just, I've learned more in this interview than I thought I would. I thought it was the other way around. When we come see you, I'd say, I've got her figured out. But I think this has been very fun to kind of dig in a little bit. It's very fun to learn about you. What else would you want anybody or everybody to know watching on Spotlight Sioux Falls right now that we haven't covered about you and your practice?
That even if it's not me, there are plenty of ways to get the help you need. And think outside the box on what your soul and your subconscious and your body need to fully heal and release whatever it is that you still carry. And there's a lot of ways to do that.
So if they want to get a hold of you now and talk about that, how do they do that? What's the best way?
My website,
Okay.
newdaysd.com.
Okay. We'll put that in the comments below and in the description, so make sure you check that. You can get a hold of Kara right here. Now, when people get a hold of you, how long would they be maybe looking out to book? Is that a week or two?
A couple of weeks.
Okay. So, you guys, thank you for traveling out to Brandon with us today. This has been a treat. I say this in a good way, but I think I'll be back here to see you relatively soon. I'm intrigued by a lot of what I've learned and have some experience in maybe what works and what doesn't work. And I trust someone like you when I hear you talk, and it makes a lot of sense. So thank you so much for spending time with us in Sioux Falls. I am Steve. This is Spotlight Sioux Falls. We've been out with Kara at New Day Counseling Services in Brandon. Go ahead and hit that link below. If you want to check that out or inquire about services, please share this with somebody if you heard something that you think they might benefit from. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This episode of Spotlight Sioux Falls is sponsored by Magnetic. We help businesses grow through content that stands out and software that scales your conversations. Not sure how to build your pipeline? You can find us at magnetic.services. Magnetic.services. Your pipeline will thank you.
Thanks for listening to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
These are the stories and the businesses that shape our city. If you heard something today that made you smile, made you think, or maybe reminded you of someone you know in your neighborhood, please share it.
That's how we support local. That's how we grow. And if you know a business owner we should feature, or you want to tell your story, reach out.
Until next time, we're Steve and Melissa, and this is Spotlight Sioux Falls, where local stories get the stage they deserve.